Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. We are from Group 4 and here we will explaining about cooperative principle, non-observance maxim. There are three members in this group. There is Andini, Aryanti, Fauzi, Faqih Auliaurrohman, and Hanifah Ardiani. Okay, the next material will be explained by me, Hanifah Ardiani. Before we go to main point of non-observance of Maxim, let me explain a little bit again about cooperative principle. The cooperative principle is the assumption that participants in a conversation attempt to be informative, truthful, relevant, and clear. In cooperative principle, verbal exchanges in conversation follow some of conversational maxims. These maxims guide how a conversation between two or more speakers thrives in a good communication. Some of the things we communicate are not part of the logical or literal meaning of our words. For example, Alex, how does your friend like working at the bank? Brian, oh, pretty well. He likes their college, and he hasn't been sent to prison yet. Okay, what does Brian mean by saying his friend hasn't been sent to prison yet? He could mean a number of things. Maybe Brian is given to telling jokes, or maybe he means that his friend is unusually trustworthy, or maybe he means that if you didn't like working at a bank, you'd spend money. The actual meaning conveyed will depend on the context, such as what Alex and Brian both know, their relationship to one another, and to Brian's friend and other factors. Okay, now to the main of non-observance of maxims. Greece argues that the participant may fail to fulfill a maxim in various ways. Greece lists two other ways to infringe it, to frigid the fulfill of maxim, and to opt out. A speaker infringing a maxim or opting out of a maxim is not implying something different from the word or being intentionally misleading. The speaker infringing a maxim fails to observe a maxim because of their imperfect linguistic performance. This can happen if the speaker has an imperfect command of the language, or if their performance is impaired, or if they have a cognitive impairment, or if they are simply incapable of speaking clearly. For example, there was an advertisement on Swedish television about a woman waiting for her boyfriend, or to find a way of proposing to her. She was so tight that she gave up waiting for him to ask her to marry him, desperately exclaiming, "Oh no!" Because it's the name of the man. Similarly, songwriting seems to observe the maxims with their unfortunate choice of words creates unintentional ambiguity. Okay, I think that's all from me. The next tutorial will be explained by my friend. Thank you.
Thank you to Hanifah, who has given me the opportunity to present the next material. Then, I am Andini Aryanti Fauzi will explain about the type of non-observance maxim. Some ways to violate the principle of cooperation according to Grace 1991 are: first, violating maxim. The type of maxim of violation can lead to a misunderstanding if recaptured in conversation, because the listener will not know the true meaning of speaker's speech and only know the explicit meaning. Jadi, pelanggaran maxim seperti ini dapat menimbulkan salah pengertian cara implikatur dalam percakapan, karena pendengar tidak akan tahu arti sebenarnya dari omongan pembicara itu dan hanya tahu makna secara eksplisit. Example, don't your dog bite? No. bends down to stroke it and gets bitten. Oh, you said your dog downs a bit. That isn't my dog. 2. Opting out. A speaker's opting out of a maxim indicates an unwillingness to cooperate, although they don't want to appear uncooperative. They cannot reply in the way expected, sometimes for legal or ethical reasons. Pelanggaran semacam ini adalah ketika pembicara memilih keluar dari pepatah yang menunjukkan keengganan untuk bekerja sama, meskipun mereka tidak ingin terlihat tidak kooperatif, sehingga mereka tidak dapat menjawab dengan cara yang diharapkan, yang terkadang untuk alasan hukum atau alasan etis. 3. Followed by a clash or clashing. Chris, 1991, argues that the speakers might not be able to avoid the maximum quantity. Grace berpendapat bahwa pembicara mungkin tidak dapat mematuhi kuantitas maksimal. Jadi, implikatur dapat muncul dengan bentrokan maksimnya. Ketika pembicara harus melanggar satu maksim untuk mengikuti orang lain dalam prinsip kerjasama. The last is floating maxim. When floating a maxim, the speaker assumes that the hearer knows that their words should not be taken at face value and that they can infer the implicit meaning. The speaker expects hearers to appreciate the meaning implied. Jadi pelanggaran secara floating ini, pembicara berasumsi bahwa pendengar tahu bahwa kata-kata mereka tidak boleh dianggap remeh dan bahwa mereka dapat menyimpulkan makna secara implisit. Jadi kalau yang floating itu mereka tidak tahu, sedangkan floating ini mereka tahu. Nah, pembicara mengharapkan bahwa pendengar untuk menghargai makna yang tersirat.
Okay, my name is Faqih Auliaurrohman, and for the next material, I will explain about floating maxim. So in floating maxim, when someone floats a maxim, he blatantly fails to follow it. He aims to communicate something precisely by making it very obvious that he has chosen not to follow the cooperative principle, and trusting that his audience will draw the intended conclusion. In floating maxim, there are 4 kinds of it. The first one is floating maxim of quantity. The speaker who floats the maxim of quantity seems to give too little or too much information. For example, A. How do I look? B. Your shoes are nice. So from this dialogue, B did not give complete answer. B only compliments the shoes. This could mean that B did not like how A looked. And the second is floating maxim of quality. The speaker may say something that obviously does not represent what they think, or by exaggerating, as in the hyperbole like, I could eat a horse while starving. And the third one is floating maxim of relation. They expect the hearers will be able to imagine what the utterance did not say, and make the connection between their utterance and preceding one. For example, A. So what do you think of Mark? B. His flatmate is a wonderful cook. So from this dialogue, B is trying to interject the question. Maybe B did not like or feel uneasy from that question, so he gives an answer that is not related to the question. And the fourth one is floating maxim of manner. This relates not to the content of what you say, but the way you express yourself. It is easy to discuss each of these sub-maxims by one, because they have slightly different effect in conversation. And in maxim of manner, there are 4 things to consider. The first one is avoid obscurity. Speakers should avoid obscurity, for example, by intentionally using words that you don't expect your audience to understand. So in most contexts, this would be with the goal of conveying something like I'm smarter, or know more than you do. I know more than you do, which is pretentious and very rude. And then avoid ambiguity. Speakers should avoid ambiguity. This often happens in certain kinds of jokes. For example, a man walks into a bar. Ouch! This joke turns on to two things. One, being familiar with the common joke setup. Someone walks into a bar. A bar here is a place. And two, intentionally using the other meaning of the ambiguous word bar. And then the third, be brief. Speakers should be brief on what they are saying. One example is avoiding a single word and instead using a long paraphrase. For example, Alex, what did you have for dinner last night? Brian, well, we combined all the ingredients listed in a recipe for the risotto Milanese in the indicated order, and the result was very edible. And from this dialogue, by using this long paraphrase, instead of saying we made risotto Milanese, the second speaker's response gives rise to the implication that the recipe did not turn out as intended or was not very good. And the fourth, be orderly. Speakers should be orderly when trying to say something. Blatantly not being orderly is not something we will do very often. For example, Alex, hey Brian, tell me one more happy ending story, please. Brian, alright, once upon a time, a princess named Juliet died, then met a handsome prince and lived a happy life. So from this dialogue, Brian intentionally relating events out of order when writing a fictional story because he wants to convey something about his mood or his state of mind. Maybe he is tired to tell a story to Alex, so he flows Maxim of manner. Okay, so that's all for the material from our group. If you have any question, please feel free to ask questions. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.